Today we are discussing about the hydraulic braking system. Hydraulic brake system is a braking mechanism that uses brake fluid to transmit the force into the system. You might have seen brake fluid in the bonnet. There is a reservoir inside the bonnet to store this brake fluid. And again, you might have seen the working of this JCB. It is also working on the principle of this hydraulic mechanism. Some of the robotic mechanisms are also working on the hydraulic based, because for higher torque, when the system demands higher torque, we can go for hydraulic mechanism. So this here, the fluid, that is the brake fluid, transfers pressure from the controlling mechanism to the braking mechanism. Instead of applying through the brake through cables, you might have seen in the scooter, you might have seen cables, brake cables are there. In the case of hydraulic mechanism, that cable will not be there. Instead of that cable, this pressure will be transferred through this hydraulic fluid. And hydraulic braking systems are widely used in low speed four wheelers, in some bikes, and in bicycles also. Hero Electra, you might have seen the Hero Electra, that is Hero's electric bicycle, that also uses hydraulic braking system. Here this is the diagram of a hydraulic brake system in a car. Here four wheels are there. This is the two front wheels, and this is the two rear wheels. These are the two front wheels. This is the rear wheels. This is the brake pedal, and there is a master cylinder is there. Here we are storing the brake fluid, and this is the reservoir. Here we will there is a cap is there. You can fill the you can top up the brake fluid in this can, and this is the master cylinder. All these are hydraulic lines, pipes, hydraulic lines. It will be connected to our braking mechanism. Here this is a disc braking mechanism. Normally in the case of disc braking, the brake is applied outside for external braking mechanism, and these are the drum mechanism. Here are two back wheels are, this can be this also can be disc brake, and this also can be drum brake also. Here it is shown for your information only. Here two front wheels are equipped with the disc brake, and the back brakes are equipped with drum brakes. Drum brake means you can see it is inside the drum. This is the brake shoe. There will be in almost a scooter, Honda Activa, etc. This drum brakes are used. Even in some cars also, these drum brakes are used. But in new generation heavy vehicle, that is Duke, that kind of vehicle, KTM, Duke, that kind of vehicles, you might have seen the disc braking mechanism. In both the disc braking as well as drum braking, the brake will come to effect due to the frictional force between this brake shoe and the drum. But here there is a caliper is there. It will apply the pressure on the disc, and it will come to a rest. You can see the braking mechanism in a bike. So this is there is here the fluid reservoir is here. So you can see the fluid reservoir on the on the braking mechanism, and this is the fluid line, and there is a piston is there. This is the disc. This is the front view of the disc, not the side view. This is the front view of the disc. This is a line. This is actually from the side view, disc will look like this, and from the front it will look like this. So there will be brake pads will be there. There is a caliper is there. There is a piston is there. So while you are applying the brake, the pressure inside this will increase. It will push the piston, and because of the pad, it will apply pressure on the brake disc, and the disc will come to rest. That you can see in the next slide. That is we are applied the brake, so the pressure inside the line increases. So here the piston is pressed. So you can see here the piston is pressed. The piston is pressed. So the pads will apply a force on the brake disc. Here here the disc is released, here you can see disc is released. By after applying the brake, you can see the pads will come to in contact with the disc. So that is the working of a disc braking mechanism. In a bike you can have ABS also, and for ABS the mechanism should have a hydraulic line. The previous diagram was without an ABS. This is a braking mechanism without ABS, but this is a braking mechanism with ABS. You can see there is a one more ABS system is there between the brake pedal or the brake lever. This is the brake lever. Between the brake lever and the disc there is a brake mechanism is there. This hydraulic control unit and ECU. So this is a braking mechanism without ABS, and this is a braking mechanism with ABS. And now you can see what are the things in a hydraulic braking system. Now we can see what are the parts of a hydraulic braking system. That is, the mechanical forces transmitted by the driver on the brake pedal are converted into hydraulic pressure by a device known as master cylinder. You can see that here, this is the master cylinder. So the mechanical force applied here is converted into hydraulic force through a master cylinder. This is a master cylinder that you can see inside the car. There is a master cylinder is there. This master cylinder. This hydraulic pressure is sent to the final drum or disc. That is, it will come to here. It will come to here. It will come to this final disc or drum. That is actually happening. It is sent to the final drum or disc. The working principle of hydraulic braking system is based entirely on Pascal's law, which states that the intensity of the pressure inside the system closed by a liquid is always the same in all directions. That is actually Pascal's law that you might have studied in +2 classes. So a hydraulic hydraulic brake system is working entirely on the basis of Pascal's law. A hydraulic braking system involves the following part arrangement. These are the parts in a hydraulic brake system: a brake pedal or lever, an actuating rod, and it is a brake pedal or lever, not a level. It is a lever, an actuating rod, a master cylinder assembly, that we have seen, 1 or 2 pistons, a return spring, a series of gasket, that is for storing this fluid, we have to keep it intact inside this master cylinder, so without leaking. So there will be gaskets will be used. A fluid reservoir that we have seen above the top of the master cylinder, there will be a fluid reservoir, and a brake disc or drum attached to the axle. Brake disc brake or drum brake. Again, a glycol ether based brake fluid filled system. Normally a glycol ether based brake fluid is used in the reservoir. In the reservoir we cannot fill water or normal oil. It is a brake oil, and that is a glycol ether based brake fluid. Now we can see what are the parts of a master cylinder and how it is functioning. It is actually the main part of the entire assembly. Master cylinder is the main part of the entire hydraulic system. It acts as a hydraulic actuator with piston cylinder arrangement. That is, there is a piston cylinder arrangement is there in the hydraulic actuator, and it is responsible for converting mechanical force into hydraulic force. That is, the mechanical force exerted by the driver on the brake pedal is converted into hydraulic force by the action of the master cylinder. Again, the fluid is compressed and pressurized into the master cylinder from brake pedal, that is transmitted to the brake assembly via hydraulic lines. That is, when we are applying the brake, this fluid is compressed and pressurized into the master cylinder. From there, the from the brake pedal, and it is transmitted to the brake assembly via hydraulic lines. So from the brake pedal through master cylinder, it is transmitted to the wheels. So what is the input to the hydraulic system. So, the input to the hydraulic system is the driver has to apply his brake through the brake pedal. So, the brake pedal acts as the input to the master cylinder. That is the only input to the master cylinder, where driver applies the brake. We can say that the entire assembly will start working when the brake pedal is pressed. That is, it will start working when the brake pedal is pressed. It is manually pressed when we have to stop or slow down the running the body. When the vehicle has to stop or slow down, we have to manually press the brake pedal. It is connected with a small mechanical contact such as a spring. That is, there will be some spring mechanism is there. That is, normally if you are pressing the brake, if you are taking the leg from the brake, it will come back to the initial position. So, there will be some spring mechanism will be there. And in almost all hydraulic braking systems, there will be a fluid reservoir will be there. It is like a small tank. That is, we have to keep this fluid in the fluid tank. It is directly connected to the master cylinder for proper handling of hydraulic braking. That is, this fluid reservoir will be normally on the top of this master cylinder. It is necessary to maintain exact amount of braking fluid throughout the assembly. That is, the braking fluid is reduced, it may affect the braking mechanism. So, the driver has to check the amount of brake fluid in the reservoir. The hydraulic lines are the relationships between the various components of the system. That is, the connection is through the hydraulic lines, not electric wires or cables. So, the connection between different parts is through the hydraulic lines. The braking fluid passes through these lines from master cylinder to the brake. That is, the brake fluid will passes through these lines from master cylinder to the brake. These are small diameter pipes. That is, it will be very small diameter pipes that replaces various types of mechanical linkages. That is, cables. There can be cables. All these are removed in the case of mechanical brakes. Normally, this cable braking system, these things can be removed by use of this hydraulic braking. Then the next part is the brake caliper. You can see a brake caliper here in this diagram. You can see the brake caliper. This is the brake caliper. So, on the disc you can see the on the disc brake you can see the brake caliper, and in the drum brake you can see brake shoe, and in the disc brake you can see brake caliper. Now you can see, so a brake calipers are parts of the braking system that performs the brakes. So, the brake is applied with the help of this brake caliper. That is, the brake caliper will apply some, because of there will be some pads will be there that will come in contact with the disc, and that is the action of the braking mechanism. Inside brake caliper, pistons are placed which are responsible for braking, pistons or pads that we have seen. Brake pads are also attached to the pistons. There will be brake pads are also will be there. Calipers are placed on the circumference of the disc. That is, calipers are placed on the circumference of the disc. The disc brakes is an externally applied braking system. Sorry, this is actually different. It is the disc brake is an externally applied braking system, while the drum brake is an internally applied braking system. Disc brake is an externally applied braking system. That is, here you can see disc brake is, the brake is applied externally, and the drum brake, in the case of drum brake, it is applied internally. And then now you can see the drum cylinder. A drum cylinder is a type of small cylinder that is used inside the drum brakes, and the brake is located inside the drum and is connected to both brake shoes. The drum brake is an internally applied braking system that you can see here. This is the drum brake. Here you can see the drum brake. This is the drum brake. So, because of the brake shoe. While applying the brake, it will come in contact with the drum, it will apply the friction, and the vehicle comes to a stop position. That is the drum braking. So this is the action of a drum braking, that is there is a brake pedal is there, so, and here the master cylinder is there, that is while applying this it will pushes the hydraulic fluid here. So the hydraulic fluid is inside the master cylinder. Here there will be a reservoir also will be there, and because of the action of that fluid, it will apply the pressure here, and it will expand this brake shoe. This is the brake shoe, and it will touch with this drum. So that is the action of the drum brake. So you can see here the activation of the brake pedal causes master cylinder to move a rod connected between the pedal and the piston, which in turn pushes the piston of the master cylinder inside the master cylinder like a medical syringe. That is, it is similar to here, this is similar to a syringe. So when you are applying the pedal, it will pushes this diaphragm, it will pushes this diaphragm, and the fluid inside this master cylinder will apply a force in this brake shoe, and because of that brake shoe will touch in contact with the drum, the vehicle come to a rest. That is actually mentioned here. That is, it is similar to a medical syringe. Master cylinder, the working of the master cylinder is similar to the working of a syringe. This improvement of pistons inside the master cylinders causes compression of the brake fluid inside the master cylinder, which in turn converts mechanical energy into hydraulic pressure. That is, actually while with the help of syringe, you are applying a mechanical force on this piston. So when you are applying mechanical force, that mechanical force is converted into the fluid inside the syringe. Now it is a hydraulic force, and that hydraulic force will exert pressure on the drum. That is how a drum brake. That is, this compressed fluid from the master cylinder moves inside the brake, and this hydraulic pressure transfers from the master cylinder to the brake drum. When this high pressure brake fluid enters the wheel cylinder or drum cylinder, due to its high pressure, there is movement in the cylinder piston, which in turn expands the static brake shoe attached to it. That is, this is the working of a drum mechanism. Due to the expansion of this brake shoe, a friction contact is formed between the brake shoes and the drum lining. That is an internal lining will be there for the drum, that is the rotating part of the drum, which in turn converts the kinetic energy of the vehicle into heat and finally braking. Heat means heat will be generated, that is there will be friction will be there, so this drum will get heated up. And a single acting drum type braking, single acting drum type hydraulic brakes work exactly as stated above. This is the type of braking provides braking force in single wheel or single pair. That is, we can have hydraulic brake in some bikes. You can see hydraulic brakes will be given to front wheel only or back wheel. Sometimes it is applied to both the wheels. That is, that will depends. So it can be a single acting or double acting. That is, it may connected to two wheels or single wheel. And in car also it can be connected to front wheel or front wheel only or back wheel only, like that. Now this see the working of the disc brake. Again master cylinder is there, brake pedal is there. Instead of drum, this is a disc only. Instead of drum, this is a disc only. This is a disc, and outside the disc there will be a caliper will be there, and when you are applying pressure here, the fluid inside the master cylinder will be pushed by this diaphragm, and it will apply pressure, and there will be a pad will be there in this caliper, and by this pad will come in contact with the disc, and because of that it will come to a stationary point. The process involved in the disc mechanism is similar to that of drum. When the driver brakes the vehicle equipped with the disc type hydraulic brake, the disc high pressure brake fluid enters the brake lines. Here also both are same, this as well as this diagram, both are same. The process involved in the disc braking is similar to that of drum. When the driver brakes a vehicle equipped with the disc type hydraulic brake, the high pressure brake fluid enters the brake lines. Similarly, here also it is same, but we are applying the brake from the outside of the disc. In one case it is from the inside, that is here we are using disc caliper. In the previous case we are using brake shoe. In the case of disc brake we are using brake shoe, but in the case of disc we are using disc caliper. In the drum we are using brake shoe. So that is the difference. So that is about the disc braking mechanisms. So in almost all ABS systems there will be a hydraulic mechanism, that is consists of hydraulic brake consists of, it can be either disc type or drum type. So that can be used to in ABS also, that can be used in ABS also for safety, for the safety application of the vehicle.